Hi everyone, and welcome to this Lunchtimes webinar. We're really delighted to welcome everyone. You can see my clear text. Judith is already popping stuff up on screen there. Thanks ever so much for that. Just while we're waiting, I'll just give it a couple of minutes for everyone to join us, but we've got an amazing panel today. I'll introduce you in more detail to the speakers in a short while, but we've got Jane who is joining us from Evenbreak and her colleague Rosa, who has battled sickness to be with us today, so thanks ever so much to both of them. We've got Jess, and that's got the wrong title, which I did just change, but something's gone wonky there. We will update that and get Jess to introduce herself in a second. We've got our own Rina, who is an accessibility and usability consultant for AbilityNet. Really delighted to have her with us today. My name is Sarah and I'm the marketing manager for AbilityNet. And in the background, we've got Kelly, who is helping me drive the slides and answer any questions that you might have. So please do pop any questions for us in the chat, whether it's technical things, or please do pop in Q&As as well for our panelists. We're going to allow hopefully plenty of time for that. So I can see that the participant numbers are still rising. So I'm going to give it another couple of minutes there. And yeah. Okay, so those numbers are slowing down now in terms of virtual participants. So welcome again to everybody to our webinar today. We've got brilliant panel and a lot to get through. So without any further ado, I will just move on to a brief bit of housekeeping. Kelly, if you'd like to move forward. So the live captions are popping up, as we said. Please do use the Q&A window for any questions. And after the webinar, we'll be making slides, a transcript and a recording available. Everyone will receive an email about that. And we'll also include a follow-up email for any feedback on the webinar. And we really welcome that and we do act on it. So please do send that through to us. Next slide, please, Kelly. As I said, we've got an amazing group of panelists today. I'll just get them all in order to say a quick hello. So Jane, welcome from Evenbreak. If you'd just like to say hi and briefly introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm delighted to be here. I'm founder and CEO of Evenbreak, which is a social enterprise helping to reduce the disability employment gap.
Fantastic. And Rosa, as we said, has really fought her illness to be with us today. Rosa, do you want to say a quick hi and let us know who you are?
I thank you very much, Sarah. So my name is Rosa Breen. I'm a careers coach at Evenbreak. I specifically work very creatively and as a motivational coach. And I just wanted to share with everyone, I have lived experience of dyslexia and ADHD, and I'm thinking now probably dyspraxia, though it's not formally diagnosed. So it's a pleasure to be here today.
And Jess, over to you, and apologies again that we had a sync issue there. I know you wanted to update the role that you're speaking to us in today, but perhaps just introduce yourself and tell us about.
By day, I actually that is the correct title that I work for, but I'm not coming in that capacity. I am the UK government's co-chair of the Neurodiversity Network, which is a staff-led volunteering network across the civil service. So I'm coming into this conversation with that hat on, not my official government hat. So I'm not talking about government policy today, mostly lived experiences, or as my co-chair.
Fantastic. And also very prolific on LinkedIn. There's some great postings and stuff to look up for you on there as well. And then last but not least, welcome to our own Rina. Rina, do you want to say a quick hello and just let everyone know about your role at AbilityNet?
Yeah, so hi, my name is Rina. I am an accessibility and usability consultant. So I test websites and apps against a set of guidelines to try and make them as accessible as possible for various user groups. I'm coming in with my kind of lived experience hat on as well, from an autism/dyslexia point of view.
And fresh from TechShare Pro, where you did an amazing talk for us there as well. So we're really pleased to have you. Thanks ever so much. So if you'd like to move on from there, Kelly. We have a very brief poll because that's who we are, and it would just be really fantastic to know who we've got with us today. So I'm just going to launch a poll, which hopefully you will see on screen. And it'd just be great to know whether you're here in a capacity as an employee, an employer, you might be interested on behalf of a friend or a relative or someone else you know, or other. If it's other, please do just pop something in the chat for us and let us know. Just watching the percentages go up. Thank you so much for taking part. We're getting high numbers now. Okay, so we've hit the 90%. Just give it another couple of seconds. Fantastic. So if I just end that poll there, and then I can share the results on screen. Can somebody just give me a hands up if they can see that okay?
Yeah.
Fantastic. So you can see the majority of people who are here today are employees. We have a good number of employers as well, though, which is fantastic. Lots of people who are interested on behalf of someone else, and quite a lot of others. So it'd be really interesting to look at that in the chat and also get some feedback from people after the event as well. So thanks very much for taking part. And I know that will guide our panelists as well. So if we could just move on from there, Kelly. Thanks ever so much. So brief agenda today. I'm going to start just by giving you a very brief overview of AbilityNet. We're obviously hosting the webinar, so just be great to tell you a little bit about ourselves. Then we're going to hand over to Jane and Rosa, and they're going to tell us a little bit about what they do in terms of coaching and career development. Following on from that, we've got some questions teed up for a really rich panel discussion. I'm really looking forward to that. And then it'd be fantastic while we're doing that, please do pop questions in for the panelists. As I say, Kelly's keeping an eye on those, and we'll definitely save some time to come to that. We're going to read out useful links, but there are some there at the end of the slide deck for you to read at your leisure afterwards. And then we'll aim to close the webinar by 2 o'clock. So that's just a brief overview. So if you move on from there. Brief overview of our services. So AbilityNet's mission is that we believe in a digital world accessible to all. So we have a range of free services. We're, I think, fast approaching around 350 volunteers now who will provide one-to-one support remotely and community-based support in terms of adjusting computers. We have a range of free services online. If you haven't found My Computer My Way yet, I highly recommend that you take a look at it. It's like a vast database which spans all devices and operating systems. You can go in and you can look up lots of tips and tricks for adjusting your computer, truly personalizing it and making it easy to use. We support people of any age with any disability or impairment to use their technology to achieve their goals at home, at work, which is the focus for today, and in education. I mentioned TechShare Pro earlier. We recently hosted that in November. It's the UK's largest accessibility meetup. And we were delighted to have the show sponsored by Microsoft this year and have some really high caliber speakers there. And all those videos, some of which may be of interest, are on the website as well. So do please review those at your leisure as well. So if you'd like to move on, Kelly. So this slide is just a showcase for the specific workplace services, as that's what we're talking about today. As I say, we have lots of support with in terms of assistive technology. We have a corporate advice line, lots of disability awareness training and e-learning modules available. We run employee needs assessments, a gap analysis, training courses and workplace consultancy, and there's a link there to a brand new brochure that we've just put up on our website, Building a Culture Where Everyone Belongs, and that's got more details of those services in there, so please do download, and if any of that's useful then we'd be delighted to hear from you. Next slide please, Kelly. So I'm going to stop there and hand over to Jane and Rosa for a discussion of your coaching services. So I'm going to put myself on mute. I might chip in because I've got one eye on the time, but not just yet. So yeah, please do tell us about some of the great work that you do.
Thank you, Sarah. That's great. Yes, so just a brief introduction to Evenbreak. We have 3 main services that we offer. So one is to employers, to help employers become more inclusive and accessible through online resources and training and consultancy. And then we have a career hive, which I'm going to describe in more detail in a moment, which is a careers service specifically for disabled people who are looking for new or better work. And then we bring both of those stakeholders together through a job board so that disabled candidates can find work opportunities with employers who are keen to access us as a talent pool. And Evenbreak is a social enterprise. We've been going for just over 10 years, and we only employ people with lived experience of disability. And this is so that we have lived experience of the barriers that our candidates face when they're looking for work. And the Career Hive, which is what I'm really focusing on today, is a careers service which is designed specifically for disabled people who are looking for new or better work. And it's designed and delivered by people who also have lived experience of disability. So there are, for example, there's a signposting service so that you can go onto the Career Hive and search for support organisations in your area that might be able to support you. You can also find lots of online resources which are around employment. So it could be writing CVs, it could be confidence building, it could be interview prep, those sorts of things, but through a disability lens, so specifically created for disabled candidates. We also have the job board that I mentioned earlier on, and in fact, employers pay to advertise their jobs on the job board. So we know that they are very keen, you know, they're proactively trying to reach out for disabled talent within their organisations. And we offer mentoring, we offer a lot of events, so we have lots of workshops. We have a Meet the Employer event, usually once a fortnight, which is an employer comes along, talks about their recruitment process, the kinds of jobs that they advertise, how to shine in their recruitment process, how to ask for adjustments and those kinds of things. And then we have the coaching service, which is one-to-one coaching with careers coaches who are careers professionals, but also have lived experience of disability themselves. And it's that service really that I wanted to share with you today. And Rosa has very kindly come off her sickbed to join us today. And so she is one of our careers coaches, and she also does a lot of our webinars and Meet the Employer program. So her experience comes from familiarity, obviously, with our candidates and the kinds of barriers that they face, but also familiarity with our employers and the kinds of things that they're looking for. And so she's the ideal person to join me today. So Rosa, I know the benefits of employing disabled people, and particularly neurodiverse people, because we have a number of neurodiverse employees within our team at Evenbreak. And for me, that's priceless. You can't put a price on the benefits that an employer gets from employing disabled people and neurodiverse people. But I wondered if from your perspective, you wanted to share with us what you think employers benefit. How do they benefit by employing neurodiverse people? What's in it for them?
Oh, thank you, Jane. Well, there's so much in it for everyone, really. I mean, we're all working towards, you know, a more diverse and inclusive workplace where everyone's differences, whether that comes to, you know, how they approach their work or the problems that we solve, you know, we're much more powerful as a diverse and inclusive workspace and workforce. And so I think it's really, really important that all types of diversity are welcomed and supported within the workplace. You know, it makes for much more enhanced productivity, creativity. And I think that employers really do now get to see and understand the importance of welcoming in all sorts of employees, regardless of their disability or neurodiversity, because it's just going to make for a much more stronger workplace in terms of the solutions and the problems that we can solve collectively as a group.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think from Evenbreak's perspective, what I love about having neurodiverse people within the team is that literally the brain is wired differently. And so people look at the world, process the world differently, and will come up with all sorts of innovative ideas that I, as a neurotypical person, wouldn't come up with in a million lifetimes. You know, and sometimes one of our team will say something and I think, oh, that's ridiculous. And then I'll think about it a bit longer and I think, no, it isn't. It's genius. And I know that it's something I would never have come up with. And I think every organization that wants to be innovative, come up with new ideas, you know, be ahead of the pack, you know, really sort of have that competitive advantage, really need neurodiverse people within their workforce. And I love the fact that we have those within ours. So we know that there are benefits for employing neurodiverse people within the workforce. But, you know, Rosa, you talk to a lot of candidates. What are the kind of barriers that they face when they're looking for work as a neurodiverse candidate?
Yeah, I mean, this is a really great question. The barriers really are very diverse and range broadly. It's going to depend on the individual and what their specific needs are. You know, I actually remember speaking to one candidate, Jane, he said, there's diversity within diversity. Not everyone is going to be the same. We're all actually built and designed a little differently, even though we may have autism or we may have ADHD. And so certainly our needs and accommodations are going to be very unique and different as individuals. But you've asked the question. So I suppose, you know, from my experience and my observations from my own personal and professional lived experience in the working world, and also those from candidates that I've met through Evenbreak. And I think previously as a recruiter, I used to be a recruitment consultant many moons ago, you know, but we're talking about, I think, first of all, there's the fear of stigma. There's the fear of the unknown, afraid to actually share or discuss the fact that you know, they are neurodiverse or they have a disability for fear of prejudice or stigma. That's still a huge barrier that they face. And obviously, you know, we at Evenbreak, what we endeavour to do is encourage the individual to be a self-advocate. They can only control what they can control. And obviously, you know, we encourage them to apply or to look for employers that are inclusive and that are that do fly that banner of neurodiversity or diversity. It may also be with regards to asking for accommodations, basic accommodations, such as additional time for assessments, or perhaps having a no timer in assessments. I think that sometimes candidates feel that they've got to oblige and fit in with what they think the employer may want or seek from them. And it's really about helping the individual to assert and self-advocate for their own accommodations and knowing what their rights are. That's a really, really big one. And that comes up time and time again.
So I think exactly what you're saying is that we can't ever assume what accommodations people might need. We need to ask each candidate so that we can make sure that the process works for them. I think we know that a lot of recruitment processes are particularly problematic for neurodiverse candidates, in that there's a kind of one size fits all. And if you don't fit that size, then you're not going to get an opportunity of getting the job in the first place. So I think we need to look at recruitment processes as well, and how we can make those more.
Absolutely. But I also just wanted to add, it's really important for the individual to be a self-advocate and to be able to know how their condition affects them.
Yeah.
And also what are the challenges that they may face in that recruitment process, or if they are successful in getting the job, and being able to articulate to that employer, these are my needs, these are my challenges, this is how you can accommodate or help me. But equally, it's really important to be able to demonstrate your unique talents and strengths on the flip side of that. And often one of the other biggest barriers, Jane, is our candidates find it difficult to articulate or identify their amazing talents, and how to be able to, articulate those with an employer. That's a big one as well.
It's huge, isn't it? And I've certainly heard candidates who will take a lot of time telling employers exactly why they shouldn't employ them, yes, rather than about all the talents that they do have. So Rosa, tell us about how, when you coach a candidate who's facing all of these barriers, what kind of advice would you give them? What kind of, how can we support neurodiverse candidates through this recruitment process?
Sure. So, I think one of the first things that we do when we have our first session is we start off with some storytelling. I think it's really important that our candidates get the opportunity to be themselves and to share their unique stories. Oscar Wilde has a fantastic quote. I hope you don't mind me sharing it. Be yourself, everyone else is taken. So I think one of the things that we do at Evenbreak is we allow the individual to be themselves. We meet them with where they are. They get to share their story of neurodiversity or disability with us in a very, very open and safe environment. And that's very liberating and freeing for a lot of candidates, because up to that point, I think they feel that they've had to mask, or they feel uncomfortable in being able to even disclose or share that. So we get that elephant out of the room straight away. One of the big things that we notice, certainly all of the other coaches, Tammy and Caroline included at Evenbreak, is that a lot of our candidates are unaware or are lacking the information and the support and the knowledge in terms of how to help themselves be that self-advocate. So knowing about accommodations, knowing that you can get access to work, so there's even a lot just there. But then if we talk about your typical career stuff, it's updating your CV, knowing your transferable skills, being able to identify those amazing talents. Often our candidates are unaware of what their talents are, never mind their transferable skills. So we do a lot of work in building confidence, identifying your strengths and talents. But we can, it really will depend on the individual what direction we go in. They tell us what their needs are, and we will build tailored career guidance sessions around those specific needs. It can be anything from redesigning your CV, mock interviews, right through to reviewing application forms together. It's a very, very collaborative process, but it is driven and fundamentally designed by our candidates themselves. They simply tell us what they need, and we help facilitate that.
Thank you. And we've got quite a few examples of success, haven't we, where we've had candidates who have started off feeling very unsure about what their skills are, not too sure about how to communicate their needs to employers. And after some input from you and your colleagues, they've gone on and got jobs at the end of it. I'm just wondering if you wanted to share Geetha's story with us, who I know isn't neurodiverse, but I think it's an interesting one.
Yeah. Hi, Geetha, if you're out there and listening, I hope you don't mind me sharing your story. But Geetha came to me knowing exactly what she needed. And for her, it was support with regards to the interviewing. So we did 6 sessions together, and she was supported with mock interviewing. So I would assume the role of an interviewer, and I would interview Geetha quite rigorously, and we would do a review session of those mock interviews. And this was designed really to help her feel comfortable with interview questions, because interviewing is a very unnatural sort of process, right? I know some employers are moving more towards a structured conversations, but for some candidates, they get very nervous around this whole notion of the structured interview. And so Geetha was supported over a number of sessions through every process of that mock interview. It felt like we went on this beautiful, magical journey together. You know, Geetha was not successful at that particular juncture, but within a week, she had an interview with another organisation, secured the job, and literally within a month, Geetha applied for a more senior position within the organisation and secured it. But she did come back and ask for additional mock interviewing to help her with that internal interview. And, you know, it was fantastic because she knew exactly what she needed and she was supported along that journey. And as a result, she's now in a managerial role, and a very, very important role as an accessibility manager for a leading organization. So, but, you know, Geetha drove that herself. I was simply acting as a facilitator to help her bring out her natural talents and skills.
This is amazing.
Sorry, Jane, I've just got one eye on the clock.
Okay, no problem.
I really wanted to hear that story there, and I was sure that you were getting to that. So thank you so much for sharing that. And I think, you know, there's so much in the conversation that you've both just shared there, but it finished on, I guess, where I wanted to go to now. So Kelly, if you could just move us on in the slides. I think we've heard from Jane about Evenbreak. So if we could just get rid of the slides, actually, Kelly, is that all right? Because I want to see and hear from all of our panelists now in terms of a panel discussion. So I think where you finish there is actually showing that career progression, which is where we really wanted to focus today. So perhaps if I could come to the panelists and maybe start with you, Jess, first. Have you faced any barriers in terms of career progression? Because there's that first hurdle, isn't there, of interviews, but then there is also that challenge of progressing through a career. I wonder what challenges you face there.
Oh, this is such a good question. So I am intersectional. I have ADHD, anxiety, dyslexia, and potentially ASD. I have a family history of it. Basically, most of my family are neurodiverse to one point or another. And I'm slowly, finally realizing that most of my friends are as well. I think once you kind of get that expertise and understand, oh, your brain works in certain ways, you then kind of pick up it on others. So I've actually helped my best friend get her own ADHD diagnosis. So it's nice to feel like you can give back to the community in a way. But in terms of career development, I moved abroad when I was 18. I always thought I was just weird and wonderful. My mum affectionately says that I chose to move out the other side of the world rather than down the road. I moved to Seoul for university. So I moved to South Korea, where I majored in the Korean language. And at the time, I started my degree in 2008. So I'm 31. I basically bounced around and did contract work with aid agencies and civil society organizations and charities, always around the six to 9 month mark. And I couldn't figure out why I'd get bored. And at the time, there was no, the discussions we are having now did not exist then. There was, at university, they had kind of a self-assessment for dyslexia, but that was it. There was nothing else. And I actually got my diagnosis for ADHD earlier this year, so in March. I've always known I was just weird and wonderful, and that's just how my mind worked. But I always had to justify myself, if that made sense. So like, why have you chosen a certain pathway? Why have you done that? Because it was so not the norm. And I also never had a role model. There's never been someone that represented me in the civil service, because my mum's a civil servant, and I always kind of was drawn to it, but I never thought I was good enough for it. And then I kind of, it was tough. So I've had a lot of challenges personally, from line managers who I've been told, if you can't see it, it doesn't exist. What evidence have you got? I've been told, oh, you're very successful for someone who's dyslexic. This is a former colleague. The best one is having emails sent to me back with like red spelling corrections. And just, I think people are not aware of these things. You know, they're trying to be helpful. And so for me, I've just embraced it. Not everyone's like this. And I think if I can use my platform for education as a force for good, then people are really scared of asking questions that could trigger you or make you feel uncomfortable, because no one wants to do that. But if we don't speak about our truths, it's something you can't see. You can't be what you can't see. And I don't expect someone to experience my reality or know about it until I advocate for myself. So I totally resonate with the self-advocacy point. However, most neurodiverse people within the workplace don't know they're neurodiverse. So to say, what do you need, or what support can we give you? I never have the answer to that. I'd rather have a list of things that I could get potentially and choose from that, because, for most of us in the workplace, it's trial and error. What works for me as someone who is intersectional with being ADHD and all that other fun stuff will not work for someone else who has the same diagnosis. Just because you met someone with ADHD doesn't mean you've met them all.
Absolutely. And I know, sorry to interrupt, Jess, but I know there's a lot of that Rina would echo. And it also reminds me of something that a very wise person said to me, which is what diversity boils down to is that my normal is not your normal. And I wish we all lived in a world where that was like the mantra, really. So if I pass to you, Rina, I wonder if any of that resonates and what barriers you face and what your experiences have been.
Yeah, so I'm very much I'm very much about self-advocacy on the level that, I am continually learning about myself. I don't know everything that I need right now, but having that flexibility to kind of say, actually, I've tried this and this doesn't work, and I need to change this slightly so that it works for me. But kind of having that awareness that, someone is going to say, you're going to do this now. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll give it a go, but can we maybe do it this way that gives me a little bit more support? But definitely for me, I've found things like communication and that sort of stuff quite challenging. But it's very much around kind of, I know myself best. And while I might not be able to articulate exactly what I need to have the help, I can articulate maybe what I struggle with or what I might struggle with. And in that way, that then we can have a kind of a conversation about what might come next. How could they support me to do that? But I'm very much around kind of, I'll give it a go. It might not work, but I'll give it a go and see how it goes and come back to you about it after I've done it.
Yeah, and that's great. And I think that maybe brings me on to my next question. So I'll just throw this out. Someone wants to put their hand up or chip in, which is, I guess, advice from employers from your own experiences, because I think that's a great question. It sounds like some of what Rina's saying or some of what Jess is saying is being, I guess, not that we should need to be brave, but brave enough to ask for what you need. But on the other side, somebody needs to be listening, right? So I wonder what tips you've got for employers. Jess, I can see your hand's gone straight up, so I'll come to you.
Yeah, sorry. This is something I'm very passionate about. One of the things I'm very cautious about is kind of giving advice where advice isn't needed and starting to people go down the train of, like, for example, I've been asked for as like a third party advice in certain circumstances where, say, the employee is struggling with certain things and it sounds like neurodiversity, but they don't know and they're not aware of it and they're not educated about it. And the line manager is struggling because it's productivity issues around, delivering core components of their work. And it's not their place equally to start that conversation. you know what I mean? Because it's a very personal thing. And I think it's very sensitive. It's not something that I would say jump straight to HR about, because often, you know, it can be really challenging with HR because it might sound very official or like you've done something wrong. So I would say tact and diplomacy is by far the best thing, and having like maybe suggesting, like if you have the use of staff networks, for example, that's kind of why we exist. So I have a lot of people who come over to us asking for like information or, you know, recommendations on a book, or you know, there's loads of like excellent TEDx talks around different experiences of neurodiversity, and that often actually starts the question of, oh, I didn't know didn't know neurodiversity could mean this, or I didn't know it could be that. And it just starts having those conversations. The other thing I was going to say is lunch and learns, 100%. I have had probably over almost about 10 senior leadership across HMG reach out for neurodiversity training, which I'm in the middle of designing for us internally. And I think it's that kind of openness from senior leadership that is really important as well, like having senior leadership buy-in, and having opportunities for all staff to engage in a frank conversation around something that can affect anyone.
Yeah, that's great. And it sounds like, and I know Jane and Rosa both have their hands up, so I'll come to you in a second, but it sounds like there's something in there as well about not making assumptions as well. So the lunch and learns and the conversations and the listening, to me, seems to be all about not assuming what's going on for people for asking that question. So Jane, I'll come to you as your hand is still up, and then we'll go to Rosa.
Yeah, I think, you know, I agree absolutely with what Jess was saying, that, you know, you could have 10 people with identical diagnoses and yet they would have 10 different access needs because everybody is absolutely different. But I do think that there are two things. One is about having that very personal conversation with someone, which isn't about, oh, well, we had someone autistic work with us before, so this worked for them, so this will work for you. That's not going to be the case. It's about making sure that we embrace each individual person. One of the things we say is that when we're looking for offering adjustments, it isn't the kind of very standardized, are you disabled? If so, what adjustments do you need? It should be a more open conversation said to every employee about, you know, we want you to thrive in this organization. What do you need us to do? So it's not just about disability or legislation compliance. It's about everybody feeling part of the organization and being valued. But I do think, particularly within the recruitment process, there are barriers which are pretty universal. And I think that we know that, you know, CVs can be very difficult for someone who's been discriminated against previously. So their work history won't be as impressive as someone who hasn't. And actually, CVs talk about previous privilege rather than future potential. And we know that interviews can be really problematic for lots of candidates, but particularly if you're neurodiverse. You know, it might be that the interviewer is assessing you on things which are irrelevant, like body language and eye contact. And they might think, well, that candidate was fidgeting and looking at the floor and looking very nervous, whereas the other candidate was smiling and looking at me, and I got that rapport going with them. Neither of those things have got anything to do with the candidate's ability to do the job. So I would encourage employers to look beyond CVs and interviews as ways of assessing people's suitability for a job, because there are certainly better ways of doing it. I mean, that might be demonstrating somebody's skills in a job-related task, you know, so that you're actually testing, can they do the job, rather than can they talk about how good they are at doing the job, because those are two completely different things. So I just wanted to say it's about looking at the recruitment and the assessment process and making it less biased.
Yeah, and Rosa, did you have something to add on that? Because I know your hand was up previously.
Yeah, I mean, goodness, where do I start? I mean, I've got a lot I can add. I know Jane's focused on the recruitment. We then have the onboarding, right? So the fun starts then when you actually have the job and you're in the job, you know. So I was really impressed by Jess and Rina. Thank you so much for sharing your stories and you know, just being so honest about what it is like to have neurodiversity in the workplace. And I applaud you both. with regards to, you know, what you're wanting to achieve. But there's a couple of things that sort of has come up, and, you know, like yourself, Jess, I had a late diagnosis. And so I had been masking pretty much a lot of my life. Didn't even know I was masking. What the hell is masking, right? You know, and then you're trying to work out what it is, this thing that you have, because you've been working so hard to mask it. And so it is okay if you don't know everything about your condition and you are on a journey and you're learning, and your employer might also be learning with you. So you don't, you know, it is important to be that self-advocate, but it is also important that you keep going and you learn about yourself. And I love the fact that Jess has suggested that it's trial and error, perhaps on some occasions. You try things out. And the most important thing too is, Sarah, that we have an employer who is communicating, listening, opening to really wanting to understand how you think. Having that conversation is, you know, having that conversation and just being open about what those possibilities can look like makes all the difference. That breaks down the barrier right there. The other thing I wanted to say on it is it's everyone's responsibility, everyone from senior leadership right down even to the cleaners and the, you know, everyone's involved, because I love the idea of these community networks and these diversity networks and organizations, and you can go to find out what's worked for other people, have a cuppa, share your experiences. But you might also have other employees that do not know they're neurodiverse or who may be disabled in other ways, and they have to learn also how to work with you, and you also have to learn how to work with them. And you've got to be able to share, you know, maybe what accommodations you need. And so it's a learning journey, I think, for everyone. And we all just have to be open and kind and listen to one another and just kind of work through it together collectively.
That's fantastic, and I really like that that word kind. I'd like to come to Rina, because AbilityNet is really proud to be a disability confident leader, and I know that you've had adjustments made and that you're a great self-advocate. So I just wanted to hear about your personal experience here and elsewhere as well, and what has worked in terms of, and what you think employers can learn from your own personal experience. So if I could come to you, Rina, that would be great.
Yeah, so I mean, I got told about 3 years ago by an Access to Work coach that we had a contact, that my family had a contact with, and they said, you know, it's not always that great to say that you're autistic on your application, because loads of people look at it and they think about a certain thing and they make prejudgments about you. And I just said, you know what, no, because I know that I need adjustments and that I need to work maybe in a slightly different way from someone else. And if someone takes one look at my application and goes, they've got autism, we don't want to work with them, then I don't want to work at that organisation, because I know they won't support me in the way that I need them to. So I immediately, when I submitted an application to AbilityNet, I put on there, I'm autistic, I need these adjustments. Or I think these adjustments will help me in the interview process and while working. And it's kind of that. So I was met with just a complete attitude of willingness to discuss things that I think might help me. And that whole attitude of willingness and understanding, and it's not even necessarily understanding like, okay, we totally get what you're talking about, we know exactly how you feel. It's kind of, okay, so you're saying that you need some adjustments, that's fine, let's talk about it and work out what will work for you. And that whole attitude towards it made me feel like I could discuss the things that maybe weren't going so well for me. So I had one point where I tried something new that I'd not really done before, and I did it for maybe 2 or 3 months, and I completely burnt out. And I because of that willingness and that understanding, I felt like I could go back to my line manager and say, you know, I can't do this at this point. I'm not saying I'll never do it in the future, but this isn't something that I can do at the moment while I'm learning all of this other stuff to do with my role. And that was met with a very kind of, okay, that's fine, how can we change this to make it work better for you? And the thing that came out of that conversation was that I was removed from that particular activity for the time being, as a discussion between me and my line manager, saying, okay, so let's not do this and give it another go in the future, maybe, because I've been allowed to engage in a way that works for me, in a way that I can engage with that activity. I've been able to practice the skills I need for that particular activity, and now I'm feeling like I can start thinking about going back to that activity, trying it again, possibly with some other kind of adjustments, maybe some additional support and that sort of thing. And it's that kind of, for me, it's very much the willingness to talk about it. I'm not expecting everyone to have the answers. I'm not expecting everyone to go, okay, I totally know what you're talking about. I totally know that, you are, we know how you are experiencing this, and we know the exact solutions for you. That is not what I'm expecting from anybody. But the thing that really helped me to kind of feel valued and understood was the willingness of my managers to listen to what I was saying and talk about adjustments that could be made for me, and that made all of the difference. I mean, I was in a previous role before, and I went in to it was a work placement, and I went into work one day, and the guy that was kind of my contact said, I'm going into a meeting, it'll be about 3 hours, here's something to do. And because of my autism, I can hyper focus. Because I can hyper focus, I get through work really quickly. And I said to this manager, so what do you want me to do if I finish that? And he's like, you're not going to finish it. I was like, what? But if I do, what do you want me to do? And we went around that in like 3 times. And he's like, you are not going to finish it. That's the end of the discussion. Goodbye. And then like halfway through his meeting, I finished it. And I said to the rest of the office, oh, finish that. What do you want to do? And they all erupted into laughter, because I had warned him, he had ignored me, and now I didn't know what to do. And it was funny, but it's also the side of like, some people just don't think that people can work in a different way to them. And it's that openness to accept other people working in a slightly different way.
And it's that listening piece again, isn't it, Rina? And it also sounds like the adjustments, there's something in the adjustments about, regardless of neurotypical or neurodiversity, knowing how to get the best out of someone is all we're really talking about at its very basic level. And I'm really conscious of time, and I'm aware that I started with barriers. So I really wanted to come to my next question, which is examples of where people have actually been well supported, because I think we can learn as much from those great examples of where people have felt well supported, or even, coaching, mentorship, people who've really have done that listening piece. Rosa, I know your hand was up. I don't know if you'd like to
Sure.
talk from your experience about what a difference it can make when someone is well supported.
Yeah, a couple of things on that. It makes a huge difference. Without a doubt, we are not singular islands, and we can't do everything ourselves. It's important to reach out to your mentors, other coaches, allies, wherever they are. It may be within your own workplace. I myself have an ADHD coach and a business coach to help me, because I can't do it all on my own. I'll give you an example actually of what's happened within Evenbreak. I'm sure Jane won't mind if I share. One of my talents, which I actually wasn't aware of at the time, was that I actually quite like hosting. I love doing webinars. So I actually love putting on that, when I say mask, I love putting on that role of being like that BBC presenter and getting out there and interviewing people and meeting those employers and asking the tough questions on behalf of our candidates. How diverse are you really? What accommodations do you really make? And I'm playing to one of my strengths. Now, I have dyslexia, so I might not like writing the articles, but I definitely can articulate myself. And so I like the presenting. So what I do is I don't write the articles, but I get to present. And so I think one of the most important things is to be able to identify your talents and your strengths and work to those within your job. I think it's really important that we co-design our job descriptions with our employers. I know that might sound a little kind of, maybe perhaps a little too innovative, but you will get the best out of your employees if you're really playing to their fabulous strengths and talents. And so in Evenbreak, that's what we did. We worked out what our talents and strengths were, and we played to those, right, Jane?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, when employers say, oh, that's a bit complicated, actually, it's not just good for the employees, it's good for the business as a whole. Rosa is absolutely superb at delivering webinars. So it's not in my interest for Rosa to be spending her time doing something she doesn't enjoy and has to struggle with, when there is something that she can do that's really, really valuable, that she's absolutely superb at. And similarly for others. So for us, we look at the team and say, right, well, what are the strengths and how can we mold their jobs around them as people, rather than trying to fit them into a job that's not actually quite the same shape as them. And, I say often, but, we're not box shaped, we're people shaped. And it's about trying to really make sure as an employer that you get the absolute best from everyone. And then everybody wins, because the employee is doing things that they enjoy and that they're good at. And that means that the employer is getting the productivity and the brilliance and really playing to the strengths of the team. It would be silly to do it any other way, really.
So yeah, and I love that about being people shaped. And I also want to come back to something that somebody said earlier about this being everyone's responsibility. And Jess, I wonder if I can ask you about the group that you run and how that works in terms of ensuring that the organisations do get the best out of everyone, and that advocacy of your group. If you could tell us a bit about that, that would be amazing.
This is a good question, because we're quite new. We only we're not a new network, it's always existed, but we're rejigging it at the moment. So I've gone through our leadership kind of structure, our management structure, who are we talking to, how are we accountable to everyone, and obviously, as I said, we have only just kind of started that process, but from previous kind of engagements I've had in similar roles, for me, I think it's really important to have lived experiences within our team. So I'm very keen. We're currently a very small team, and I think it's really important to have every single neurological symptom and experience recognized. My both co-chair, so me and my co-chair both have ADHD. So obviously we are only one part of the cake, really. And I think the first thing to make sure that we're accountable is to make sure everyone's reflected. The second is to have a very transparent and open feedback loop that we're always kind of touching base on, which you can even find on our little website, which I kind of posted in the chat, and I'll post it again at the end just in case anyone missed it. The third thing is knowledge exchange. I think this is one of the biggest things that any organization of any size can really fall on, and that's both in the private sector and the public sector from all of my previous experience. If you have a lived experience or something works well, don't be afraid to articulate that. It can be incredibly powerful to know that, oh, something's worked. Okay, well, if it's worked somewhere else and it's a good idea, why wouldn't we try it? And by that, I mean, we now have an ADHD drop-in session, which is on the third Tuesday of every month. And that was based from a recommendation of a friend. My co-chair runs that. And we're potentially, brainstorming to have other events that we know work well, and because the topic's important. I think the last one is to make everyone, and off the back of the knowledge exchange, is accountability that works up and down. So senior leadership, everyone in the organization is responsible for it. So, when you're going to meetings, being succinct, having clear messaging, you know, what are your wins? What are the challenges? Where are the blockers? Because, you know, someone who's 3 grades above you, they haven't heard of you before, or you're having an introduction meeting, or you want them to begin to care about this issue, you need to make them care, right? And kind of telling them about all the amazing stuff that you're doing, and that you could even help more people with their support. And it's also, I think the last one is also leading by example. So for me, I'm just unapologetically myself. I run a newsletter on LinkedIn around called The Standard Brain, and some other random stuff, all about just my lived experiences. Because as I said at the beginning of this session, I never had a role model in the civil service, so I became one.
That's fantastic. And I think, you know, I'm really got one eye on the clock now. I think we've had some amazing role models here today. And I love so many of the quotes. I'm going to go back over the webinar myself around different slices of cake from you, Jess, about being people shaped from you, Jane, and the quote that you shared with us earlier, Rosa. And Rina, I always love speaking to you and hearing about your personal experiences. Time has raced away, so I'm not going to come to the Q&A now, but I know Kelly is monitoring them, and we will post that out as part of the follow-up, and we'll update our blog with any questions that have come up today. But in the 4 minutes that we've got left, I was wondering if I could come to each of you and maybe just get you to give me one tip. So back to that thing about either something that you've learned as an employee, or a tip for other employers, and what you would say to them. So Jane, I'll come to you first. What would your tip of the day be?
Well, my tip's a joint one, both for candidates, disabled candidates, and for employers. And that is about really focusing on the strengths that people bring with them. So if you're a candidate, focus on the strengths you bring to the employer. And if you're an employer, don't worry about the things people can't do. Focus on the strengths and make sure that the job fits around that, and offer the support that's needed for people to be able to perform as well as they can.
Fantastic. And Rina, what about you? What would you say based on your experience?
I think, again, I'm going to go from 2 different kind of angles. So from an employer's point of view, I'd say, you know, look past a diagnosis. Look at the actual person in front of you. Okay, they might not be making eye contact, but are they meeting, you know, the things that they need to do the job? Yeah, I don't need to make eye contact to do my job, but I do need to be very good at testing websites, and that's where I would say employers need to look. But then from an employee point of view, I definitely say, you know, think about yourself. What are your skills? What are your strengths? And try and sell those. You know, you don't need to know what help you need, but if you can identify maybe some things that you'd like some help with, that's a really good place to start.
Fantastic. And Jess, I know that, as you mentioned, your fantastic newsletter, but if you could pick maybe just one tip from all the ones that you've been collecting and share them with us, that would be amazing.
I guess it's for anyone. I guess it's more for a candidate. You have worth. Just remember that your experience and your opinions and everything that you bring to the table, it does matter. And, you know, just because you have more of a complex need doesn't mean that you're any less of a candidate.
That's fantastic. And Rosa, a final word from you as somebody who is right there inspiring people and encouraging people to do precisely that. What would you say?
Well, Sarah, thank you. What a compliment. What a lovely compliment. You know, I'm going to have to finish with another quote, I'm afraid. This one's WB. It's he says, happiness is neither virtue nor pleasure nor this thing nor that, but simply growth. We are happy when we are growing. And I think there's no better place to grow personally and professionally within the workplace, both for employers and employees. And it comes down to that very simple thing, that 101 thing of communication, kindness, and a little bit of empathy. And we're all on the journey together, you know. So and we'll all grow together if we just be a little more communicative, transparent, kind, and compassionate to one another.
That's amazing. That's lovely. And it really reminds me of Carl Rogers, actually, in that empathy piece. And he was inspired by, I think it was a potato growing in the dark, and just by shining a little bit of light on there and watching those roots grow. And I think that's a fantastic, it is just shining that little bit of light. What we said earlier about getting the best out of the people, appreciating the different slices of the cake and those person-shaped, not boxes, we're not boxes, we're person-shaped people. So thank you all so much. I've really enjoyed our time together today, but I do need to call time there. As I say, there will be, we'll be sharing a slide deck, a recording. We will pick up the questions. Your questions are really important to us. And I know there's been some great chat going on. I've been watching it at the bottom of my screen, and we'll reflect that as best we can as well. But thank you so much to all the panelists. And I think there's been a real sharing of experience, both lived experience and professional experience today. So I'd just like to thank you all for your energy and for doing that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.